more. Lauren, you're holding up 3 months?
3 years.
Oh, okay. If Tina, Amby, and Alicia, if you guys are able to, let us see your faces. We want to see you. Hey, Missy, how are you? Where are you calling from?
South Carolina.
South Kakalaki.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, and how long have you been coaching?
Kind of actively, not very long, just a few months.
Okay, well, welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. For some reason, I'm beginning to feel led to go a different way, but I think I'm going to hold true to what we're going to talk about. Haley, Kate, Christy. Okay, I'm hijacking your call. It's 8:00. I'm sorry.
No, go. I love your energy. I'm like, I've got to come hear this girl talk. I love you.
Oh, you want me to keep going?
Yeah, go.
Just start?
The beginning of the call is yours. There will be people popping on, so you just go.
Okay, well, awesome.
Let me introduce you really quick.
Okay.
Hey guys, so we do have 2 teams coming together today. Lauren Brzezinski and we're not on the same team, but we connected on Instagram over our faith and the way that we run our businesses, and so we've become friends. We got to meet at Summit. But she's done a call for my team before, and she asked me to do one for her team, and so that's what we're doing here. But Keichun is my corporate mentor. So when you rank advanced to diamond, 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, you get actually like more everything, really. You get so much support and just leadership from Beachbody, which I love about this company. They just pour into you the more that you show up and work your business and help other people. And that's beautiful to me. But Keichun is my corporate mentor. And I asked her to come and to speak to our teams today just quickly because it is August the 18th and we are inching closer to the end of the year. And I know you guys got big goals. And I asked her to come and talk about Diamond and just kind of like from her standpoint from corporate, why she would encourage us to do that and to give you guys some tips for pushing for that goal. So I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to let me mute everybody but you, Keichun. Let's see. Oops. Let's see, where are you? Okay, go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Rachel. And thank you guys for being on a Saturday morning. I think that's just speaks to the dedication on this team. Like she mentioned, I'm Keichun Graves, and I am corporate mentor. There are mentors literally in every city, in every state, in every country that we are in. So if you're not a part of your region's mentorship team, get involved with their stuff, get involved with their masterminds, get on their team page. Anyway, so I'm going to jump in real quick just because I believe that you guys have some more things planned today, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. We're talking about Diamond, and before I go into this piece of consistency and what to focus on in order to reach there, I just want to go back and take it way back to our mission, because it truly starts there. What we do, I always say, what are your personal goals? And most times, Beachbody coaches have giving hearts, right? We have giving hearts and we have entrepreneurship mind. So we want to help people, we want to earn some income. And then based on those personal goals, we figure out what the Beachbody goals are. Most oftentimes, the desire to be able to do those personal goals, to achieve those personal goals, is going to come with reaching your Beachbody goals. Those are good tracking systems. Those are good markers. And so the biggest reason to get to Diamond, right? The biggest reason to officially open up your business, if you're not to Emerald, even right now, like Emerald should be seriously 24 hours if we're wanting to open this business for certain. But the reason why is because that's one of the steps necessary to reach your personal goals. Most times, regardless of what your personal goals are. So, and hitting Diamond and even hitting Success Club are not the sole definitions for success in this business. They're not. However, they are great reminders that you're doing the right activities. Those things are very well designed for you to focus on everything, the acquisition, the retention, the having the heart behind it, the working on your mindset, those things are set up very intentionally in order for you to have holistic success. So that's why you should shoot for Success Club. That means that if we worked for someone else and they said your job is to help someone, 3 people and every 30 days. And we did, and we'd be fired. Like 3 people every 30 days. Like, we can do that. We can totally do that. So those are the reasons why we want to shoot for those Beachbody goals, because they are directly aligned with your personal goals. Those are great markings along the way. But how do we get there? How do we reach Diamond? Well, I am going to give you an acronym today for consistent. Consistency is the not so secret to success, y'all. I mean, really in life, in every aspect of what we do in life, if we just show up, that's half the battle. And let me debunk a myth really quick before I jump into this acronym. Consistency does not mean sprinting every day. I think that sometimes people are almost nervous to start because they're afraid to be consistent, aka sprint every day. That's not what that means. That means show up every day. That maybe let's put some numbers. Maybe you're doing 10 of whatever or 20 of whatever. And that's kind of what you're able to do consistently. That's stretching you a little bit, but you've kind of figured out your schedule to make those numbers rock. But every now and then you feel like doing 50. And I'm just giving out random numbers that don't necessarily mean anything, but you feel like doing 50. That's a sprint. You're 50. But you're kind of walking at your 20. That's stretching. That's a good. But what if there are days where life throws you lemons, but you've made this commitment to yourself, to your future self, to your legacy, to your family, to your coaches, to your people that you're working with, your customers, but life throws you lemons, and you're like, how can I motivate people? How can I inspire people when life is throwing me all kinds of lemons? Well, maybe those are the days that you can only give 1, or you can only give 3. Or maybe it's hey, success partner, hey team, I can't give anything. I need you today. That's consistency. It's showing up. It's communicating. So what do we need to be consistent in order to reach not even just Diamond? Y'all, I want you guys, I'm a hiker. Anybody else hike? Yeah. Oh, we got some hikers. Okay. So I am a proponent of setting audacious goals, but then absolutely setting smaller goals along the way. Because if I just focus on these bigger goals, then I'm not, it might suck the joy out of me a little bit, because I'll just be focusing on how much I suck and not how many people I'm helping in the pursuit of reaching that more audacious goal. But saying that, I want you guys to think much, much, much bigger than Diamond, truly, and think of Diamond as one of your stepping stones. That's one of your smaller goals to reach there. And again, if you're not Emerald right now and your desire is to have this true business, then what's today? Saturday? Let's have it open by Thursday. Let's wake up on Thursday and have that open. That's kind of a decision. We have 2 people. We have friends. Okay, I'm going on a tangent. Let me focus. I have an outline. I have an outline for a reason. Let me go to my outline. So, consistent. The C for consistent, and some of you guys may roll your eyes a little bit, is for challenge groups. It's a must that we have challenge groups. And it's a must that we have challenge groups where people are getting results. So be obsessed with their results within your control. We can only control the controllable, but we really do want to set them up for maximum success. And with that being said, maybe it's understanding what their personal goals are. Maybe it's really giving them this game plan and really holding them accountable and really be, recognizing them for their smaller wins and their holistic wins and not, anyway, you guys can figure out those things to recognize, but really setting them up for for an opportunity to get results from your challenge group, to have fun, and even begin to put them in the place of coach potential in those challenge groups, meaning incorporating some personal development. We all know that many people, after college and graduate school don't read. We are unicorns that we are working on ourselves, and maybe incorporating that will help them, one, with themselves, but then two, be putting them in the place of coach potential where they can begin to believe in themselves more and begin to break down some of their barriers that may hold them back from pursuing this. Maybe it's encouraging them to share a transformation picture. Because we know what happens when we share a transformation picture. One, you get all the feels because people are congratulating you and complimenting you, and then people are asking what you're doing. Also in those challenge groups, know your strengths and then partner with members from your organization, or hey, even cross organizations, and work together in order to provide fun, results-oriented challenge groups. You guys don't have to do this alone. For my people who are working, I know Rachel works full time. Work together. That's what these teams are for. And I love that 2 teams are partnering up to even do this today. I think that that's amazing. Use it. This is your network. And when we work together, we can accomplish so much more. We can impact so many more lives. And if you have had great success with any of these programs that we've launched so far, but specifically with 2B, since the certification is launching, don't be afraid to relaunch. I think that sometimes, because we as Beachbody, the corporation, our job is to provide so many different ways and resources and solutions for people, but your job is then to kind of understand those and but take your niche. If that makes sense. If any of this doesn't make sense, stop me. But then to take your niche, meaning if you are having great success, like your people are having great success with 80 Day, then relaunch that baby. Maybe it's Lift. Relaunch that baby. You don't necessarily have to follow in the cadence of Beachbody. Now, if you're not quite sure what to focus on, those are great. But sometimes they can confuse your audience because you're jumping from program to program. And so don't be confused with what our role is from corporate to put out so many, and what your opportunity is to take those and just to have them in your back pocket, but relaunch. And if you did have great success with 2B Mindset, oh my gosh, you should definitely be relaunching this in a major way with the price reduction, with the certification. And if you had people who had great results in May, challengers, ask them if they will be interested in that certification. Maybe that's the confidence that they need, partnered with their results, to pay this forward and help people and maybe become a coach. So challenge groups. See if I have anything else. So be consistent with having challenge groups and providing those results-oriented experiences, knowing that you don't have to do this by yourself. O is for old coaches. 80% of your day should be spent on your business, pretty much regardless of where you're at in this business. 80% should be spent on your business and the activities you need to do in order to enroll a new coach or a new customer. And in that 20% of the time that we have left, that's when we're going to be working with our coaches. And so in that working with your coaches, how many people have at least one coach underneath them? Okay, so a couple who don't have any. Okay, and that's okay, y'all. This is the beauty of this team, because there were so many hands that did go up, and so now we can ask them. We can brainstorm. What are you saying? We can say, hey, does this make sense? So use your team, y'all. Use your network. You're not in this alone. But if you don't have coaches, then that means 100% of your day is spent on doing the activities necessary to enroll a coach. And oftentimes when we get a coach, we get so excited and then we put all of our eggs in that basket. Don't do that. At that point, we still want to be focused on the majority of our time spent on our day. But for my people who did raise their hand, during that time, we want to identify the commitments from your coaches. Meaning, are they, rock stars? So they just kind of need a check-in. We still want to be a coach to our rock stars, the people who don't necessarily need us. We still want to be a coach. Don't forget about them. Maybe they are doing the work, but just need a little bit of hand holding. And really that's where the majority of our time should be spent. And then people who say they're doing the work, but not really doing it. And sometimes, and guys, there are roots and reasons why that happens. Whether it be belief, whether it be limiting beliefs, whether it be they've got, I guess no's would be a byproduct of those others, but we're not psychologists, so we can send them podcasts. We can send them, I love Brooke Castillo, Life Coach School podcast. She's the bomb. I have, Rachel, if you want, I have a list of by topic of some of her best work. Anyway, I send them over there so that they can work on themselves. But the majority of our time should be spent with the people who are doing the work and maybe not reaching their goals, but they're doing the work and they just need a little bit more hand holding. Time is one of those resources that we'll never get back, but it's one that gives back exponentially if we use it properly. So regardless of all that, though, be there for your coaches and constantly check in. You absolutely never know when life will throw someone, a lemon that came out of nowhere and they're like, enough is enough. I'm ready to actually do this. So that's why it's important to just continuously check in, even if they're like hobby, haven't been doing anything in 2 years, check in on them. How are they doing? Are they, if they're still a coach and they have not quit, I would absolutely be checking in, because that means if there's something deep down, there's a reason why they're staying around. But 20% of your day is spent on your coaches. 80% of your day is spent on doing the activities necessary to enroll a coach or enroll a customer. N is for new coaches. Acquisition and retention are so important. The first things first, in order to get your new coaches going or coming to you, we have to be constantly inviting. We have to be constantly following up. And specifically to the coaching opportunity, oftentimes people are like, I don't understand why I'm not getting coaches. I'm not finding coaches. And I'll go to their social media, for instance, and I'll kind of scroll through and I'll see amazing fitness posts. Oh my goodness, they're doing such a good job of sharing those transformations and sharing those health and fitness recipes and even sharing pictures of their challenge groups and things like that. And I'm like, well, how are your challenge groups going? And they're like, they are awesome. And I'm like, okay, that's it. So what you're focusing on is actually working. You're focusing on the fitness. You're focusing on the challenge group. And by you focusing on, that's where people are going to gravitate. And so it's very important that while we are doing our personal inviting, that one-on-one inviting, that we are using the internet, that we are using social media as an opportunity to let people know what we do beyond the fitness. I always say Beachbody is ending trends, plural. Ending the trend of obesity, but we're also ending the trend of living paycheck to paycheck and loneliness and limiting belief and self-doubt. We're breaking down barriers. We're saving marriages. That's what we are. And so you can talk about some of those things, how Beachbody May has been a vessel for you in that. A vessel for some, maybe a teammate. And don't allow society to dictate what success should look like as you are talking about this lifestyle, as you were talking about this opportunity. What I mean by that is oftentimes it's kind of society's norms and pressures have kind of been instilled in us. And so we're like, oh, it's only $50. I don't want to talk about that. But you're like, I was able to completely pay off karate lessons for last week, but I don't want to talk about $50 because it's only $50. And I work a corporate job and I make good money. It's not about that. It's about you were able to pay karate with your side hustle that's committed to helping people. What? That's crazy. Or maybe it's you were able to tithe more, or maybe it was you were able to give more to a charity or to devote more of your time. Or maybe your story is a rags to riches, or maybe it's not. But you have these stories, plural, and don't allow society to dictate. Here's a fun fact. When the housing market crashed, the amount of money on average that people needed to save their homes was $250 a month. 250, not a week, that's a month. And the commission from one challenge pack sale is equivalent to 6 hours worked at minimum wage in the United States. So we cannot allow society to dictate what success should look like and be afraid to share our wins and our stories behind those wins because of that fear. And it may feel weird at first. And if it does, say it. This feels weird, but I have to share this. It's okay. But we have to be constantly inviting in order to get new coaches. And the way that we can invite beyond and really those personal invites that's the ringer. That's how you really get people in. We don't want to rely on these posts that I'm talking about, but these posts, especially on Instagram, allow people to get to know you faster. I mean, how many times have you felt like you knew someone? Like, I know you. It's taking a lot of the time out of building the relationships. If you're consistently sharing your story, if you're consistently sharing what you're doing beyond the fitness, that you are someone they can go to for their health and fitness, but also their business mentorship needs also. Any questions? Okay, it takes 33 times for someone to see you and what you do and why you do it and what you're about before they buy into you. And so think about that as we're talking about being consistent with these posts. Sometimes I get asked a lot about how many times should I post, and let me tell you, y'all, it varies every day. And there's no such thing as social media gurus. So really, do you, but what we are finding is that at least one time every day if you do stories, and you should be doing stories because that's a great way for you to reach way more people, once a day. I'm talking about the lifestyle. You don't necessarily have to say, come join me every single time, but sharing a story. And on your feed, at least twice a week. Okay. And it takes at least 7 conversations and invitations and follow-ups and value adds in between those before someone typically says yes to your inviting. So in that, we're talking about marketing and prospecting. Your marketing is you being consistent with your posting. Your prospecting is what becomes of that marketing, who we attract from that marketing, and then we invite them. And we have to continue to talk to them. So when you get that no, or maybe when you get that no, it's okay. Hey, I thought about you. In our virtual boot camp, we were talking about different ways to eat onions, and I know how much you love onions, and just thought I'd share this with you. That was so random, but man, if that was your niche, that was off the top of my head too. If that's your niche, right? Like if that's your person, that's your person. And guys, you'll never say the wrong thing to the right, or you'll never say the wrong thing to the right person. So invite, follow up, add value in between. I've heard so many times, I joined with my coach because she followed up with me every month for a year. I've heard that before. Okay, anyway, marketing, prospecting. The N is for new coaches, the acquisition. The O, again, was for old coaches. That's the retention. And remember, we broke them up into 3 groups, and the C is for challenge groups. The S is for systems. Remember, the goal is not for our coaches to duplicate exactly what we're doing. We don't need them to duplicate our exact to-do list, our exact morning routine, exactly how we do our getting started right process. We don't need that, but we do need them to duplicate our excitement and enthusiasm behind it. And that's something that you can create on your team. That's something that as a leader, we set the temperature. We set the temperature. And for our followers, we set the temperature. Your enthusiasm is your best script ever. Ever. So be excited, and know that you don't have to wait to be motivated. Like maybe you, because I know that life happens and we're not excited all the time, right? Right? Am I the only one? Maybe. Okay. And so I know that life happens. And so when life happens and we still have to have that enthusiasm, a couple things you can do. One, pre-record. So on those days that you are looking good, the hair is looking right, the makeup's on, change a few times, get a couple shirt changes, film a couple videos, and store those in a folder, store those in a secret group with just you, and you have to start a group with one other person, but then you can kick them out and just store those there. Lean on your team on those days. Or if you are one of those like relentless people, like, no, I'm going to fight through this, and you can be real with it, then maybe go through your wins binder. A wins binder is a place where you keep your results, the people that you've helped, the before and after pictures, the thank you so much, Missy, for inviting me to the challenge group. Because of you, I've gotten confidence to start my church ministry. Or it's thank you so much, Lauren, for inviting me to this coaching opportunity. We got Disney World paid for, right? That's where you keep those wins at. And so if you're one of those, go through those wins, change your energy, and then let your people know, hey, y'all, I am so excited to be here because I was just so miserable and I just like shook myself out of it. And the person who I was and the person who I am, they're so different. I just love it. And you just go from there. So you can create your excitement. So 3 different ways that you can go about that excitement. But your enthusiasm, that's what we want them to duplicate. Not exactly what we are doing on our to-do list. But here are some things for us to systematize. Because we do want them to have these things. We do want them to do these things, but just not exactly how we do them. And oftentimes I've heard leaders say, I've created this thing and my people aren't using them. It's like, no. We want them to be inspired by it and go create their own. And I'm going to be real. After reading The Miracle Morning and listening to Entrepreneur on Fire and listening to all these different channels that ask the same question, how do you start your morning to the most successful people in the world? I began to, 1, compare, and 2, was trying to duplicate, and it just was not working. It took me, this is the embarrassing part, 7 months to get my morning routine down because I kept failing, because it wasn't mine. The goal is to have a morning routine, but it doesn't have to be exactly how Hal does his or exactly how Abigail does hers. So don't think that your coaches have to duplicate exactly. We just need for them to have one. Okay, so here's what we need to systematize: having a to-do list. So we do want them to work from a list. A tracking system. I believe it was John Maxwell who says, track your work and I dare you to fail. No matter how new you are, track who responds to your invitation. You don't necessarily have to track all of your invitations. I think that sometimes that's actually what stops people from tracking, because they think that they literally do have to track all their invitations, or that may be what stops people from inviting because they think they have to write down 50 names and then cross out the ones who ghosted them. No, guys, track your work, but track what's coming. Like track the work. Track your work, track the work. Ooh, that's good. Just kidding. But having tracking systems for your invites and for your follow-ups. Have an onboarding system. Understand their personal goals. Help them understand what their Beachbody goals are in order to reach their personal goals. That's kind of how we started our conversation today. Have a monthly schedule. Again, this doesn't have to be like anyone else's, but hey, try it and before you try to recreate your own, right? Meaning if they do their challenge groups at the beginning of the month and they run their free group in the middle and then they begin to invite to their sneak peek, like have your month kind of set up and have that systematized, because that's a great way for us to kind of begin to predict when we're going to hit Success Club and how and reaching our goals early on in the month. Your morning routine, systemize that. Systemize revisiting and evaluating goals, whether that be daily, weekly, monthly. Have some sort of system for that. I'm definitely sure there's a few more things that we can systematize, but that's kind of what I had. But have those and then make them your own. And making them your own is definitely the scary part, because that's where the failure is, right? Because we wake up and we fall asleep in meditation, because that should not have been the first thing that we did. But that's what Oprah says she does first. Right? Or maybe like that was what kept happening to me. I just kept falling asleep. Anyway, let me keep going because I will go on another tangent. So the I in for consistent is for invite. I've talked about this, so I'm not going to go too much more into this. It's just that important. That's why it's like it had to be hit twice. But specifically to the business, specifically to the challenge groups, and those are separate. And the S then for Success Club, or excuse me, for consistent is Success Club. Help people, 3 people every month with the holistic system. That doesn't mean that we're not going to not help people with other things. And that doesn't mean that if we don't hit Success Club, we're a failure. That means relentlessly pursue it. Relentlessly pursue it. And if you're not hitting it, let's figure out why we're not. But there are people who have been hitting it for like 100 months, and they are no different than you. No different. And they were doing it before social media, like when it really took months for you to form people. Now we can like share a story and people know us already. So be inspired by that, not intimidated. Don't go into a rock and like, oh, that's them. No, be inspired. Why not you? We can do that. We can help 3 people. We can help 1 person every 10 days with the holistic system, but we are not going to allow ourselves we're not going to allow ourselves to let success solely be in those categories, solely be in those recognition pieces. Again, those are great tracking systems, like I mentioned at the beginning of our call. Go for it. Just want to make that unequivocally clear that I'm saying go for it, but that does not define your success. The T is for take time for personal development. Kind of had to make that work, but if you're not doing personal development, you're probably going to quit. Y'all, seriously, do personal development, and your personal development is going to evolve as you grow, and allow it to evolve. And don't necessarily do what everyone is doing. Do what you need to do at this moment. And I know when I first started, it was kind of overwhelming because it was like, read this, read this, read this. And there was like this laundry list. I still have a laundry list of books, but I really started committing to myself that I was going to be generously selfish. And what I mean by that is the more that I'm selfish with developing myself, the more generous I'm able to be with my knowledge and with my enthusiasm and with my passion. And so we have to take time. But guys, we also don't have to jump right into a big novel. Maybe it's a YouTube. Maybe it's a TED Talk. Maybe it's a podcast. And then you baby step your way into Audible. Be intentional about moving in the direction of where you need to go. But we need to do it. And we need to do what works for us. We have to be generously selfish. E is exercise. Be proof the product. Guys, that is just like a given, and it makes our job so much easier. And oftentimes when you're like, I don't have anything to post about, or I'm not feeling very confident, or I don't think I can help these people, those are all limiting beliefs that stem to most times from you not being proof the product works, you not walking like you're talking. And you can be real. Like, we're human beings, we're human brands. So you can say, I didn't work out today because XYZ, but I'm doubling up this morning or tomorrow morning. Or maybe it's I worked out and I'm eating a slice of pizza because I'm at my kid's birthday party. I don't know, but you can be real. Those are just off the top of my head. But exercise and show your realness and show what you're doing and show your transformation and think outside the box with your transformation pictures. We are the leaders in health and fitness. Like we are the leaders, like no one does it better than us. Everyone is trying to mimic us. And so now that they are mimicking us, we have to think outside the box again. And I'm loving beginning to see these different kind of before and after pictures now. I'm seeing people focusing in on one aspect of their body, you know, their arm, their leg, their face. I'm seeing people do 360 videos. Like I'm seeing people really think outside the box with these before and after pictures to capture people's attention when they're scrolling through. So share those before and after pictures. If you have never, put an emoji over your face. If you have never, send it to your spouse, send it to your success partner, send it to your upline, have them tag you in it, have them post it with an emoji over your face. Y'all, but do it. Allow those to be the baby steps necessary for you to get over yourself in order to share it. Because the thing is that is what is going to help people know that you're someone that they can go to for help. If I won't go there, but we cannot be nervous to share any aspect of what we do. Because if we are, we're almost a disservice to the people who need this, who not only want this, but need this. Remember the trends, it down to the loneliness. The N is for never give up. Most people who reach success in this business are people who just didn't quit. Like it's always so fun at Summit seeing the recognition, because those aren't necessarily people that you see on the wake up call or on the champions page. You know, those are like just people who show up. They're not necessarily the people in the forefront. They're just people who are consistently showing up every day, who never quit. The goal is to go and to move and to do and to get uncomfortable and then to make the uncomfortable, to make that discomfort comfortable. And then to do that cycle again. Because we don't want to live in comfort, but we want to make the discomfort comfortable. But then as you elevate, there will be new levels of discomfort. And it will be so worth it. It'll be so worth it for you and for your people and for your legacy. Keep going no matter what, and control the controllable. The T is take. The time is now. We'll have to let go of a lot of what we knew and who we were. You know, type A, perfectionist. Y'all, we have to be okay with B work. We have to be okay with failing. We have to be okay with looking crazy, right? Maybe that's not who we were. We're going to have to let go of a lot of who we were and a lot of who we thought we were supposed to be, but it will be worth it. This is your time. I don't think that you guys are here by chance. I really don't. I don't think that this is a coincidence that we're here all together on a Saturday talking about how we can be consistent and get our comfort zone and reach diamond and reach Success Club with your tracking systems that are based on the impact that we have on people. This is not coincidence that we're here talking about this. You were meant to be here. You were meant to be on this call today. You were meant to hear these things. And I hope that something triggered. But my prayer is that you do not allow today to just be another day. You do not allow these words to be words. Maybe these are all things that you heard. Hopefully, they are all things that you have heard before. But hopefully, there's some spark in you that you can take away that inspires action. What will you do? What's the one thing from this call that you're going to implement, that you're going to do, that is your takeaway? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. But you guys are all meant to be victorious. You know, the leaders on this team, the leaders on this organization, their stories are similar. You know, their lives are similar. Someone may be waiting. Someone's life may be depending, and not just the financial aspect, but maybe as a friend, and maybe, and not just the physical aspect, but maybe as an outlet. So be consistent with some of those things that we talked about. The time is now. I believe in you guys. We have 5 months left of this year. Welcome to your new beginning. And remember that the success comes from being consistent. And the success in this, you know, a champion, a winner, a successful entrepreneur, successful mom, successful ministry leader, that is not the end goal. That is the byproduct of the impact in the lives that we're impacting consistently. So consistent, just one more time, just to recap. The C is for challenge groups. The O is for old coaches. That's the retention. Retention is very important. The N is for new coaches. That's the acquisition. Acquisition is very important. The S is for systems. We want to systematize things, but we want to duplicate, most importantly, our passion and our excitement and our enthusiasm and why we are doing this. The I is for inviting. We talked about marketing versus prospecting, and we know that we're going to have to prospect. We're going to have to be willing to share, even if we're uncomfortable, but we can say, hey, I'm uncomfortable sharing, but I got to share it. And that's the cool thing about social media, but we have to do it. The S is for Success Club, helping 3 people. We got to do that. Why not? If they can, we can. You're no different. Make it a must happen. Believe it's a must happen, and then do the activities necessary. T is for take time for personal development. E is for exercise. N is for never give up. And T, the time is now. Welcome to your new beginning. Let me look at some of these chats. Duplicate my enthusiasm. Love it, Lauren. Follow with my old coaches. That's good, Rachel. That's good. And I love handwritten letters. You can even send those like once a month to people who are MIA. Let them know you're thankful that they're here. Making the discomfort into the comfortable. Oh, Kathy, that's so good. Trey, don't let others decide what my success is. That's a hard one. And that's going to take doing that over and over and over until it becomes more comfortable. I couldn't hit Success Club until I decided, yes, it's all in your head. Agreed, Lauren. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for spending part of your morning with me. That's all I have. I tried to make this as quick as possible. Rachel, is there anything else?
That was killer. Like, yeah, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Keichun, I know she's got to go somewhere, but I just want to say thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, guys. Thank you. Mwah. I'll see you guys.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
day. All right, you guys. So Lauren and I had this whole other thing planned, but like Lauren just told me this was obviously what God had intended for us. I'm going to unmute people. So there's not really time for us to give you our whole thing on inviting, but we will. Like, Lauren, do you want to reschedule? Yeah.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
We'll reschedule our content because it was really good too, but Keichun always just blows me away. So, my favorite thing that she said was, you'll never say the wrong thing to the right person. And I think that comes down to faith, honestly and truly. Like, God has people out there that he wants us to help, and you could like screw up the whole invite process royally. And if it's who God intends for you to help, then it will happen. Right. So I don't know, that just stuck out to me, but I took notes, and I'll type up the whole consistent thing. But does anybody else, Lauren, do you want to say anything?
I mean, just to speak to what you just said, my coach botched her invite to me. Like, it was like the worst invite ever. I went back and
That's right.
Sorry, my internet's messing up.
It's okay. You froze. You said she botched your invite. What did it say?
It was just super long. It was like everything they tell you not to do. She like threw up all this information, and it should have made me run. But like you said, like, it's all in faith, and she said that she had prayed about it, and so she sent me this, and it's true. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. It's so funny that way.
Yeah. Anybody else, Christy? Anybody else?
I loved when she said, do not allow today to be just another day.
Mhm.
And I think that's something that sets us apart as coaches. You know, she said we're unicorns for personal development in that way, but we're also kind of unicorns in a different way, and not like princess unicorns and we're more special than other people. I don't mean that. That way. It's just when people are like, how are you so positive? It's like, well, because like I made a commitment to get on this call, and I've listened to 2 personal development podcasts, you know, in the car today. And so that kind of stuff, you know, I like to say joy doesn't just show up at your door. But so I just think that's a good way, like when we're not feeling it, when we don't want to do it, it's like just kind of give yourself a kick in the butt and be like, don't make today just another day, and make it something special. So that like, really resonated with me. I mean, a lot of other stuff, obviously, but that one was just like,
What about, this kind of blew my mind. The equivalent of a commission for a challenge pack sale is equal to 6 hours of minimum wage work, y'all. Like,
is that for real? Like, I mean, isn't it by state number 1? But I was like, really? Because I'm terrible at math. I don't do math.
so we make like $50 on the challenge pack.
I mean, I'm not saying she's not saying it's true, but you know,
Yeah,
I'm always like,
it just blew me away. Like, blew me away. And if we put 6 hours a day into this business, I mean, you could sell 6 challenge packs a day, honestly and truly, if you tried, if you worked really hard. I mean, like, that blew me away, guys. Like, and I have been thinking about setting this goal for my new coaches, especially
You know what your iPad?
hit $1,000, like in a, you know, earn $1,000 in 3 to 4 months. Like, that is totally achievable for every new coach. And you know, what could that do for a family? Like, what could that do for a family out there? Anyways, that just blew me away. So like, my challenge for you guys is one, hopefully you took notes. Like, I took a bunch of notes, and I'll type up the acronym, but like, what will you do with this? Like, we can't, like, I've been so guilty in the past of just listening to these calls, reading personal development, and being such a great collector of information. And I never did anything with it. Don't let that be you. Do you need to start your own challenge group? Do you need to talk about coaching today? Do you need to invite? Do you need to pick up a personal development book or find a podcast? Like, what will you do? Do you need to launch your business? Do you need to launch your business? You haven't done that yet. What will you do with this information today? Don't just like write it down. I want you to tell your upline. I want you to message your upline and get off the call and tell them what you will do. Baby, I love it. Where's the baby? Okay, fine. But anyway, so that's my challenge for you guys. And we will reschedule the Art of Inviting call. And we'll do that next time, if that's okay with you guys. Yeah. All right. Well, happy Saturday, and I hope y'all have a great one, and we'll see you again soon. And I recorded this, so I'll share it with you guys too, and Lauren.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, you guys.